Greetings, humanity, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I am Jim, I use he, him pronouns, and this is the Inner Circle, one of our story arcs in our Waking Nightmares campaign of Don't Rest Your Head, a game by Fred Hicks of Evil Hat Productions. This is a supernatural horror game in which the player characters have been awake for so long that they can freely interact with a realm of living nightmares. We're going to go around and say hi to everybody, see who they are and who they're playing, starting with Alyssa. Hello!
Hello, it is I, your virtual spinner of yarns and teller of tall tales. You can find me on the internet at Shawl Tales. And tonight I play Lila, the stressed out songstress, who is trying to help her fellow travelers through the city in, well, as many pieces as they have left at this point. We'll see.
I mean, so long as you come back in, at least one piece. It's a minimum number, right? That's how that works. Okay, all right, good. Okay, I was worried for a second it was a maximum. I was like, I don't know if we'll see. All right, and now let us head over to Olivia. Hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm Olivia. You can find me on Twitter and most of the rest of the internet at Cry Out Olivia. And tonight I'm playing Dawson, who is the stressed out mathematician grad student who is doing her utmost to completely ruin Lila's goal of trying to get her fellow compatriots back in one piece. I'm determined to spread chaos wherever I may go.
Excellent.
This is fine.
At least it's just me-directed chaos, I guess.
Yes. I'm sure it's going to be just fine. And now, finally, over to Sara. Hello.
Hello, I'm Sara, and you can find me on the internet at Sara of Swords. And tonight I am playing Isabel, the stressed out college kid who's not quite in college yet, who wasn't here last time. So I don't know how many pieces she's in. We'll find out.
Yes, we'll be discovering that very shortly. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be quite interesting. But before we jump into that, just as a reminder, like we do with the other games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. If we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else. Hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's you ever lose your place in your script and your brain just sort of collapses, and that kind of happens sometimes. If we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Found my place! I've said this 5 million times. You would think I'd have it memorized by now, and for the most part I do, but every now and then my brain goes off the rails. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If any of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things, or just take a break for as long as anybody needs. Let's see. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game has the potential for discussions of physical and mental debilitation, insomnia, death, law enforcement, nightmares, body horror, being stalked and chased by supernatural beings, and other horrific themes. The game has mechanics related to states arising from sleep deprivation, referred to in-game as exhaustion, madness, scars, and fight-or-flight responses, but places the expression of those states squarely in the hands of the players. So if you want to see that at any point, you can type in the chat !DRYH CW. That's Don't Rest Your Head content warning. And that will crop up there. That'll pop up there. That it's also going to be coming up every now and then because it's on rotation. And finally, please remember that we have an open door policy, which means that any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It is just a game, and mental health is always more important. I do want to just mention that for anyone who might have been wondering, Ben unfortunately has had to pull back from the campaign as due to real life reasons, and so we will not unfortunately be seeing him in this arc, but we do wish him the best and hope that all things go well. In the meantime, we need to talk about the bazaar a bit, and this place that Isabel is going to find herself in. So, in brief, last time, there was everyone made their way from the Club Absolute through the Warrens. They found their way to a set of stairs going up, and went up into what turned out to be the Market District, very close to the Market District, an intersection. There was something coming up behind them a little bit. Well, not that close. In the tunnels. But I believe only one of you stayed to look and see what it was.
Yeah.
Isabel just sort of went ahead. And vanished into the crowd at the bazaar. Essentially. But Lila and Dawson, they hurriedly went up the stairs because the thing that was behind them, possibly a thing made of a multicolored creature of some kind, sort of blob-like. They're not sure what it is. But it was like fighting something in the tunnels, so they left. Went in the bazaar. Lila and Dawson, Dawson specifically did a bit of gambling. First with a couple of rats. Well, more likely it was more likely that it was one of them was a rat, and the other one was a small marsupial. Most likely, could have been a long-nosed potteroo. Could have been also a just some variety of Antechinus. We're not completely sure, but the fact of the matter is it was masquerading as a rat and using its pouch to conceal the cards in the 3-card Monte game that was going on. Dawson caught them and received a prize of a BlackBerry-looking device that she has not yet figured out precisely what it does yet, but that might be coming. Dawson then proceeded to gamble with a nightmare called the lottery. And
when you're on a hot streak, yeah. you gotta go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Dawson gambled with the lottery, which is for those who have not seen the lottery before, a being with a wheel as their face. Has the ability to just materialize objects, summon electricity to his fingertips. And so Dawson played this game that is similar to roulette, but slightly more dangerous in that you're wagering memories. Dawson decided that she had to have the book that was being offered as a prize. As, it was like, oh, let me see what would be good for you. And it turns out that's this very slim volume about the Mad City, written by Ada Lovelace. Apparently she's been here before. Dawson won the volume by placing down 37 chips out of the 72 space board. So there are some pieces missing.
Yeah, we'll find out which pieces they are as we go.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. You were very careful to calculate things that were hopefully non-formative.
Yeah.
Things you wouldn't need. Just, you know,
Don't gamble away any load-bearing neuroses.
Yeah.
you decide to just, sometimes, you know, you have the opportunity to just delete pieces of yourself. And I'm sure that's fine.
I just eternal sunshine of the spotless-minded myself. It's
Yeah, I'm sure it's
probably
fine.
fine and no big deal.
There's an independent film that I saw a probably more than a decade back. It's not great, in my opinion necessarily, but it was an interesting little thing. It's a film called Nothing. I don't know if anyone has seen it. It's sort of a comedy, but these two guys find themselves in a void, and they find that they can just think about if anything they hate is removed from reality. And so one of them just starts deleting things, memories and problems from inside his head. Things just sort of, the more he deletes, things just sort of change for him. So
I'll look up that movie real quick.
I just
I
keep thinking back to there's this one brief scene where one of them is leaving. It's like, hey, are you okay? Yeah, no, I'm fine. Have you been deleting more stuff? No, everything's fine. Or something to that effect. It's been years. Like I said, not the best movie in the world necessarily, but it's I am reminded of that. So that happened. Then they continued on. They were looking for a place to just sort of chill for a bit and hang out. The places available did not seem good for them necessarily, or too loud, or too pious potentially. Also, there were some nightmares on the other end of things, just sort of wandering around, looking around, possibly for them. So, you know, trying to just avoid them at all costs. They ended up down a side street, down near an apartment block, just hanging out for a while and chilling in a little contained garden where there didn't seem to be anybody there, and just kind of hanging out. And Dawson got to finally flip through this book, written by Ada Lovelace, and that it was indeed annotated, as the lottery said that it had been annotated by someone that Dawson reminded him of, or at least the person that he got that book from. And it had found a little sticky note that made a statement about a thing that had been said in there. The book is from the 1800s, and apparently according to the sticky note, predates District 13 as one of the districts in the Mad City. And it was signed JD, the initials JD, which are...
Who is that?
Who is that?
Who might
We don't
that
know.
be? We just don't know.
Yeah. But Dawson probably recognizes it, unless that happens to be something that you deleted. But probably not, I would expect. I hope you didn't. That's very formative.
Just all memory of his handwriting just
Oh
gone.
God, that would suck. So
That would
much.
be like a really good dramatic irony.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It'd be so much. But up to you. So that's where we ended last time. But we must catch up with Isabel. So let us turn back the clock just a little bit to get caught up here. So Isabel, it is an interesting experience as you sort of have immediately ended up launching yourself up because you wanted to get above ground, I would presume. Sort of launching yourself into this crowd. You haven't really had a chance to look at just the area around you much yet. Just mostly, okay, there's a bunch of people milling around. And just sort of losing yourself in the crowd, going forth. I'm going to say you probably saw some trace of people who look like you ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're probably following them. But what I'd like to know is you're going to get to a point pretty quickly where there are a bunch of tents around, and on this sort of cobblestone street, which I will describe in more detail in a moment. But I'd like to know, are you just sort of doggedly following them at this point, or are you going to stop and take some time to look around? What do you want to do?
I am. Does one of them give me a business card, right?
Yes.
Okay. I am very intent on following them.
Okay. Sure, no problem. Yeah, you have their number, so you can call them if you wish, but you can absolutely continue following them. So that means that you're not checking the details around you too much. There is a point as you are getting around. You know they were saying they were going to the bazaar. And you appear to be in it. There you did catch a sign on one of these tents, and it's like there's a little bit of a carnival atmosphere here. On this street, there are cobblestone streets. The sign is rotating, and on one side it says bazaar, and on the other side it says bazaar. But the spelling is different depending on which side you're looking at. And as you're kind of dashing through, you will see that there are like people selling things, all kinds of things. You don't really stop to see kind of what they're selling because you're following you. And you're gonna see that there are games of chance here, sort of, to a certain extent. But this is within the tents. It's kind of more like the a little bit. They have various booths of the kind. The thing where you have to throw the baseball through the hole, that kind of thing, or the thing where you have to throw the beanbag at the things that the little upturned cups that are turned up, or the thing where it's a lot of throwing, is what I'm saying. A lot of these games of chance involve throwing. Some of them involve shooting. And then there are tents of various types of entertainments, fortune tellers, things of that nature. Little quick acts, that kind of thing. And now I'm going to ask you to make a roll so that we know how well you are going to be able to pursue these individuals. So the pain rating that we are looking at here, let me examine the pain. This is a pain of 5 that I'm going to be rolling. I'm going to be rolling 5 pain dice. And so once again, you should have it's an automated roll on your sheet, but you can, if you wish, up your exhaustion by 1 before you roll, and it will ask you how many madness you want to include, if you wish to include any.
I will include 1 madness die.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I have 4 successes, looks like. And it looks like you have 2 successes. So this means a couple of things are happening. Let me take a look and see what's dominating. Interesting. It looks like discipline is currently dominating. And I actually can't make anything else dominate. So you are lucky. Because basically the discipline is going to cancel out the thing that I would extract as a loss. I was going to ask you to check off a response. Actually, no, you have a choice. You do have a choice. So first off, I'm going to ask you to check off. I'm going to ask you to check off a fight or flight response.
Okay.
Because I won the roll. Basically, is how that goes. And because go ahead.
All of mine are flee. So.
Excellent. Okay, good. But now you have a choice here. The discipline is dominating, however. In this, you are going to, it looks like you are going to possibly lose, you're about to lose. Well, here's what's actually happening. A couple of very large cats are about the size of, I want to say, mountain lions, are just sort of are running through now. They have just, out of nowhere, they have come from kind of behind where you are, and are racing through the bazaar, and people are starting to scatter a bit. But discipline is dominating, so this means that the situation is still kind of under control, even though you have lost sight of your of the folks you were following. Because discipline is dominating, you may remove, if you wish, one check from a response, or you may go down. You may remove an exhaustion, if you have any. You not have any? I don't think you have any.
I do not have any exhaustion, so I will uncheck a response.
Okay. All right. So the instinct for flight is possibly, depending on which one you're unchecking, but might not be quite as controlling as it would be otherwise, right? So that seems to be what's happening now. They're these very large. They look like house cats, but they're like are kind of running through, and people are scattering to different tents, trying to run to get where they can. What would you like to do?
How many cats are there?
There are 2. There are 2 cats.
All right. So Isabel has a thing about big cats. She, I don't know, she went on a field trip to the zoo as a kid, and one of the people who work at the zoo told her a really scary story about cats, about the big cats, and so she's never really liked them.
Mm-hmm.
So she is going to duck into the nearest tent out of the way of the cats, mm-hmm. and see if she can get eyes back on the people she's following while she's stopped.
All right, excellent. Good. I'm going to draw a few cards to help prompt me here. Yes. I will say, by the way, did you have any of the martini you picked up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
You got the pink one, right?
Yes.
Okay. It does give you this sort of rush of energy, and you feel somewhat vibrant and alive. And so you're basically, you have the ability to be possibly slightly more hyper if you wish, for as long as this drink would be in your system. Mm-hmm. Up to you to kind of determine that, because that's, everybody's tolerance is different. Nearest tent. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So The first strange thing about this tent, I'm going to ask a question really quickly and not so first off, I understand what I'm about to say is something that is attached to a phobia some people have, so please feel free to X this if anyone wishes to. But I imagine that this tent has a number of clowns in it. First of all, they have, it's very strange, right? They're sort of crowded around. They're sort of doing this weird presentations. They're dressed kind of in what looks like winter gear, and there are like maybe half a dozen clowns in here, and they're affecting to be cold. And there are a couple of other people who have run into this tent, and they're just sort of smiling beatifically. There is in the center of this tent, just kind of hovering, a wooden door. It's one of those doors that looks like it's built to look rough-hewn, but it's not quite rough-hewn. If you take my meaning.
Mm-hmm.
And they have, like, up against the wall of the tent, they have like a few like skis sort of leaning up against it, just several pairs of skis, and they're sort of standing before the door, and they're like, right, anyone up for skiing? Anyone up for skiing? Anyone wants to go skiing? We got access to the chalet right here. Does anyone want to go skiing? And
Isabel will kind of side-eye that whole situation and scene, because there's no chalet in sight, there's no snow, and there's these clowns that are pointing at skis, and I assume it's a normal-sized door?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And there's a floating door, and that's bizarre. And not her target. So she will kind of like do the thing like when the teacher wants to call on somebody and then you aggressively avoid eye contact.
Yes.
Yeah, she will do that.
So you are looking away, and a couple of folks will step up. They're like, yeah, sure. They're looking nervously. You hear a lot of like kind of outside. Is sort of happening outside, and there's more running around outside you can hear, and the people who step forward, they're like, excellent, and you sense that they give them some coins, and one of the clowns hands each of them a pair of skis. They open the door, and it immediately becomes colder in this tent as a bit of snow blows in from where they've opened the door. And I'm just curious if you are positioning yourself to look at the door, or if you are, where are you? Are you trying to watch the outside? What are you up to?
I am near the entrance, but you said the door was rotating.
It's hovering. I don't think it's rotating. It shouldn't be rotating. Okay. If I said rotating, that was wrong.
I imagined you saying rotating, so we'll.
I have used hovering rotating doors before, so it is absolutely my brand, but it shouldn't be this one.
And so she's near the entrance so that she can keep an eye on, the people in the cat situation, but she's also within sight of. She can't see in the door, but she can see the snow blowing out of it.
Yeah, there's snow coming out of the door, and you see them like, great, and they dash through, and a couple of people who saw them, they're like, "You're kidding," and they're like, "Oh, it's right there." You're like, "Where does that go?" We're not entirely sure where that is, but is it Switzerland? It could be. Outside the tent, you see, if you're sort of trying to peek outside the tent or here, you do hear now someone like there's now one of the cats is struggling a bit, and someone is you hear a voice, and someone is saying, "No, come on, no, come on, there you go, and the cat's like, you don't want me to call in help on this one, do you? You really don't." And are you looking outside the tent? I forget.
Yes.
Okay, sort of peeking outside. You see the cat is currently being wrangled by someone with a long pole. Apparently, this person does some form of animal control. This person is dressed in Victorian garb. He is wearing a top hat and cloak. He has his hair just sort of sticks out. He has sort of darkish hair. Sort of black hair sticks out. And as you sort of turn, you can see he's got like, his face is kind of scarred. There's scar tissue, anyway, sort of that is mounted up on his face. You're not getting a good look at him, but you can at least you get the basics. And he apparently has got one of these cats in this loop and is kind of sort of guiding it, trying to guide it away. Right now, whilst the other one is still sort of dashing around and leaping from thing to thing.
Do I see the people who look like me, or have I lost sight on them?
You have lost sight of them for now, yes.
Okay.
You want?
Damn it, where'd they go? I just kind of mutter under my breath, damn it, where'd they go? And
at this point,
yeah.
there's a brief second where it's like, you almost hear something from a distance. It's like the sort of padding, and then there's silence, and then the right-hand side of the tent seems to, it doesn't collapse completely, but it comes in. The top side of the tent comes in a bit, and you hear this, and these large claws you can see are starting to rake through the fabric of the tent. At this point, people are panicking, trying to bowl the clowns over. Some of them are going in, trying to dive in through the door without paying. And the door kind of is going to get flung open, and you can see at this point that there's like and here's a brief above the people. It looks like a mountainside covered in snow. And you see this. The one of the other cat is clawing, trying to get into the tent. What would you like to do?
I would like to run out of the tent and away from the big ass cat.
Excellent. All right. So you're dashing out of the tent.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that you come out and you see that this cat, it's a big orange tabby, is trying to claw its way into the tent. A few people are also dashing out. There's a clown or two following you. And you see there is the guy in the top hat, you see kind of is doing something off to the side where it's like he's got help, basically, is what I'm saying. You see these what look like these dudes in also in sort of more tattered Victorian era clothing, They don't have like the stunning cape or top hat or what have you. And they're just sort of they're doing something with the cat where they're kind of like keeping it in check. There's like they've got like a harness, and they're putting on it whilst he is extracting his loop. They don't have faces, by the way. Those the guys that are helping this one guy out. And ahead of you, of course, there is the bazaar with a lot of people still some of them still milling about. What would you like to do?
Speaking of cats, mine are fighting.
Atmosphere.
Great sound effect for me. Yeah, atmosphere. So I'm away from the cats, right?
Well, you're away from one of the cats. The one that is under control. There's still the one. I mean, you're not like right next to the one that's attacking the tent, but you must, decide which way you wish to go.
I would like to go in the direction of where I last saw the people who look like me, and take out my phone and kind of program in as I walk the number for the Society of Angles so that I have it, and should I lose the business card so that it's in my phone.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good.
And now that I know that I don't have eyes on them, I would slow down and take better stock of my surroundings. Okay.
So you slow down a bit after, you try to get a little bit further away. You hear more cat wrangling noises off behind you. Somewhere. And finally, you take a breath as you're back sort of in the midst of this crowd that you've caught up with. And you will look and see just sort of what kind of place you are in now that you are above ground. So you're in a city. You've already identified, you're in a market district. But you can see you come up to a sort of an intersection, a small intersection, because you're still in the midst of the bazaar. So on the one side, you do have sort of more store type things on your right. And let me actually make sure that's correct. Yes, to your right. And to your left, there have been a lot of church-like buildings. Cobblestone Street, in between all these tents. This intersection that you hit cuts through between the churches, or church-like buildings, and you can see a little bit more of the city. First off, looking finally at the tops of the buildings are all kind of at strange angles. And they sort of weave a little bit. Some of them. All different time periods. You've got buildings from like the 1800s next to ultra-modern buildings. Mm-hmm. Buildings from like the 50s and 60s. Things that look colonial. And the same can be said of vehicles that you can see. Not too many vehicles in this district, but you can see kind of further beyond, there are vehicles going back and forth a few blocks away. And you see cars from like the early 1900s. You see cars from the from the 50s. You see cars from the 70s. You see something ultra modern go by. You see someone go by in a horse and cart. There actually is there are folks with a there are a couple of horse and carts even on this street. Mostly that level of technology for people who will drive onto the cobblestones. More recent vehicles have a harder time with it. You think a moment ago you passed a calliope and it hits you that the calliope was being was being operated by a penguin. As you're sort of looking around, you realize not all of these people are people. Well, they're people. But they don't all look human. You have people there's a couple of well-dressed goats, or people with goat heads, wearing tuxedos, are kind of wandering through. You see someone whose like head and hands are knives. You see someone who appears to be made of rubber bands. You see on the outskirts someone who looks like a tape, like their big head is a big tape measure, just sort of looking around. All manner of very strange people. And I mean, you see what looks like, you know, some sort of werewolf-looking people on one side, not on the side with the churches. Lots of different varieties of people. And it does rather strike you that you are in a very, very different place.
Mm-hmm.
And as you are looking down the street, what you can see kind of all the way through to in the smaller street that goes kind of inward between the church-like buildings is a clock tower, what looks like in probably the middle of the city. It's very far away from here. Fairly far away from here, but you can see it. And rises up. The clock itself, it's in this sort of big circular area, you think, in the middle of the city, rises up. And if you're at a place where you can hit an intersection, or just in most places of the city where you have a good shot, you can see this clock tower. Big sort of dark clock tower, Big Ben looking, and on its face are 13 numbers. It is probably that clock tower that you heard earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really see tops of buildings so much from here, so I won't say too much about them, but the tops of buildings also that you can see look kind of connected with sort of metal plating, some of them. Looks like it's sort of like someone hammered some things together. There are also a lot of doors that don't necessarily belong in certain places. Doors, windows, things that are like even just in the middle of buildings that look incongruous. It's like you'll see a wooden door in the middle of like a glass front, or vice versa. In addition to what would be regular doors for those establishments.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the Mad City. This is what you see.
I will do a slow 360 just to kind of get my bearings. And immediately lose track of what I was doing in favor of scanning the shops for anything interesting. Hey, stop fighting. We're done with the cat scene. We don't need
Your services are no longer needed.
You're no longer needed. Yeah, so Isabel will kind of do it again, a slow 360 just to kind of get her bearings. Mm-hmm. Stare at the clock tower for a moment or two before she figures out that there's 13 numbers on it. And see if there's anything sparkly or pretty in the shops that grabs her attention, because she has now noticed shiny things instead of people who look like her. And her attention span is limited to those two things at the moment.
Okay. I think you're probably going to find something.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Let me see here. Do. Okay. Let's see. You see there's a building that has like a lot of interesting looking vistas on it. That seem to be playing on a monitor. You have to you go for a ways, I will say, looking back and forth, because I think there's some things they distract you for a bit. You're sort of looking from thing to thing, sort of absorbing all of this, taking all of this in. You eventually reach a point where you are, you think you're getting out of the ring of tents. There's, and where some folks have got like a mechanic. If you've been wandering around, you're not sure how long you've been wandering around actually at this point. But you know, there's a place where they've got this sort of fenced in area where people can ride a mechanical horse.
Mm-hmm.
There is there's what looks like a bar that of some kind, or a cafe bar type thing, or a restaurant that is Western themed, shooting gallery themed. But you see this building nearby that is apparently looks like some kind of travel agency. It has a lot of very pretty vistas on it. They're kind of, the further toward this end of the block you're getting, the more things, the technology looks improved, and you're seeing more electronic billboards and things like that. And these vistas you see going by seem particularly sparkly and pretty. They've got, like, you know, there's a bunch of mesas, there's like a bunch of hills, that kind of thing. Big sort of mountain lake type deal. That's pretty. So there's that. There's going to be... There's what looks like one of the final sort of tents over here. It's a thing where there's this sort of side area where there are several sort of tents grouped where it looks like it's sort of the fortune-telling area. There's a big sort of eye hovering over it, but they've put out a lot of sort of sparkly, just sort of hanging chimes and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. It's a very nice sort of little musical area. There are quite a few different places. There's a strange sort of there's a little kind of thing set up that looks like a sort of a front thing in the front of a building, sort of like an awning coming down that has a bunch of stars painted on it and shining out, and it says, the big sign over it that says, "See the stars." This is sort of this entranceway that has been created. So those are looking kind of shiny. Are you interested in any of those?
I would like to go toward the awning that said, "See the stars."
Okay.
Because that is, you know, Isabel's had her fortune told at things at, you know, carnivals and fairs, and she's traveled the world, so that's the only one that really piques her interest as something she's not done before.
All right. Okay. You're going to head toward this awning. Mm-hmm. There is, standing next to it. Actually, yes, there is standing next to it. Someone who looks like... do I put this? Their head is a television set, basically. They're showing this, and there's a person inside the head on the on the television set. But it shifts. There's static, and it shifts to a different person, to a different person, to a different person. And they're wearing a dress, basically a long green dress. And they look you up and down and says, "Yes. Would you care to see the stars?" They say through the TV set.
I would.
It's very good. All we ask is just a tiny modicum of self-control. Would you care to pay? If you can pay that, then you can head on in.
Overconfidently, Isabel will say, "Totally."
Excellent. And they hold out their hand.
Isabel looks confused for a moment because she doesn't really know how to give what they're asking, and just kind of mime putting something like in their hand.
What?
Hoping that works.
Yeah. What to Isabel represents self-control?
A champagne bottle.
All right. So,
like expensive champagne.
Yeah.
We're not talking like the shit you get in a grocery store.
So what you find is a smaller, one of those little, but also looking very much like one of those expensive champagne bottles, appears in your hand as you are going to give it to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Do you do that?
Yes.
So for a moment, it feels as though this strange sort of... It's not exactly like a burden has been lifted, but like a door has been opened. One might say. Or perhaps the gate of a prison, I'm not sure. But you feel as though you have... And this isn't like the entirety of your self-control. I'm going to point that out very specifically.
Yep.
But a modicum of it has just been given over, so it feels like you feel different. You feel a little different. And steps aside, go on up.
And I do.
So you go in and begin your ascent. And I'm now going to switch over to Lila and Dawson. Because I would like to know what they are doing. Now that we are roughly synchronous. Or will be by the time this is done. So, in a garden, what you doing?
I think Dawson is still like flipping through the book. And is just gonna like look for any other, not even necessarily just like notes from the not just necessarily for like annotations, but is also gonna like look through and see if there's any stuff about like how to get out or
Yes. So
like what this is there actually
yes.
More specific question, is there an 1800s version of the maps that Lila has? Like, has there been any?
Something I meant to do that I did not do before I started this was to find out if Ada Lovelace liked to use diagrams. It appears as though perhaps she did. So you're seeing... Yes. But, kind of an odd thing. So... There is a map that looks sort of 1800, that looks like sort of someone from the 1800s drew it, by hand on one of the pages. And it does not look like the maps Lila has. It looks a little less... There's still a clock tower, but it doesn't seem to be as prominent. It's still prominent enough that it's noted. But
Is it still like in the center, or is it?
It's very it's close to the center, but it's not actually right in the center. And there are sort of, this number of districts kind of described. They're still sort of districts, but it's a little more chaotic than the maps Lila has. It's
It's more like nebulous rather than like this super defined. Okay.
So actually, have you been... I'm going to assume that you and Lila have been comparing, looking at the maps that Lila has.
I think Lila had mentioned last episode, and if Dawson is looking at this, we'll be like, I need to look at your notes. I'm just
Yeah.
So districts that you see on the Lovelace map. That you recognize. There is a re-education district. Actually, she doesn't label it that. She just labels it as an education district. There is a necropolis. There is a garden district. There is a market district. But, everything else... Anything else that you might have? Is, there is a labyrinth, but it's much smaller than the last time you remember there being a labyrinth district here.
Okay. Then I think
Everything else is
Dawson's gonna
different.
like go through and kind of make some notes of her own, not in the book, but like in her note pages, until kind of probably take a... Yes.
No. The sticky notes are from just like a year ago. So, there's a sticky note. Kind of, there's like a little folded piece of paper actually next to that map that looks a lot like the most recent map that Lila has.
Okay. Oh dear.
Actually, wait a minute. No, that was afterward. There is a folded piece of paper in there, but it has a different map. That looks similar to the one Lila has. Yeah. Okay.
So I think I'm just gonna do that until, I mean, we had talked about like going to look for Izzy and then potentially checking out Mad City exteriors. Um,
This was less than a
but
year
I think
ago.
Dawson will get distracted.
In your handouts, you will now have access to Mad City map number 3.
Always fun to get new stuff. Okay.
And yes, you recognize the hand of the person that drew the map.
Okay. I'm not 100% certain. I think it's still like processing. I think Dawson has a mind like a calculator for like math stuff, but not so much for like emotion stuff. So I think it's still like percolating the like implications of what it means that her dad was the reason he had theories about the Mad City is because he was maybe here for a little bit. So, yeah, I think I get just completely distracted by that until unless Lila like pulls me out of it.
Um, Lila, I think, has sort of sketched out like a rough circle and started filling in the districts that we've seen so far. And she's noticed a pattern. District 13 always seems to be in the same place. Not that that is helpful to us right now. But other than that, I'm just kind of also hearing the clock strike the hour.
Oh, that actually for you was some time ago.
Yeah, that was a while ago. Now that some time has passed since then, I'll kind of give Dawson a moment and then kind of check in and see if she's ready to start looking for Izzy.
Oh yeah. All of this can kind of get put a little pin in it, and she will actually like make a physical like pin motion, and then sort of start scoop like she doesn't like put anything away organized. She just kind of scoops it together and then puts it in the bag. Like, yeah, there's so much going on that it's like it can't be organized. Right, we should go look for Izzy. Do you think that rat catcher guy is gone? Yeah, who knows?
We'll just have to keep an eye out. Hopefully he's moved
Okay.
on for
All right.
now, but now that he knows we're here, he's probably going to be keeping an eye out for us as well.
All right. Okay. Um, well, we could either go back to the bazaar and look around for her, and see if she's still, wandering. We could also try to find the Society of Ankles and hope that she makes her way there. Since, yeah, that's the...
That seems like it might be our best bet.
Yeah. The only problem is that we also don't know where that is. I guess we could ask around.
True.
Are people, I mean, obviously not like people like the clock guy and the, did we heard Mr. Sphinx's name? Yeah, we did.
You did, yes.
And Mr. Sphinx, and obviously those people don't like us and we don't want to get caught by those people, but like, are people generally personable here? Like, could we ask questions? Okay. All right. Dawson will kind of like, no, okay. And then, yeah, I think we head out of the little gardeny spot, our little sanctuary.
Yes. As you are heading out, you'll hear what sounds behind you from the garden. This brief sound like... If you glance back, I don't know if you want to glance back or not, but the little fountain that's in there looks a little different. There was this little sort of sphere sitting like in the middle of the fountain. It looked like part of the fountain, and it is no longer there.
That's probably nothing, right? Yeah.
It certainly doesn't mean that we've had an audience.
Great. Good and cool. That's
Yes.
Yeah, as we're walking back towards, we're still kind of like in the market district, right?
Yeah, you're in the market district.
We're just like not in
there are
the
plenty
actual...
of places that are selling things around. Just you're kind of more in a residential portion of it right now, which means it's fairly run down. What direction are you folks heading? Just so I will know. Are you heading back toward the main street, or are you heading somewhere else? Or at the main street, the street you were on?
Yeah.
Or are you heading? Are you looking elsewhere in the district, or what's up?
Yeah, I don't know. feel like more main thoroughfares are going to be more dangerous, but also like might get us closer to where we're going. So probably that way.
As you are heading in that direction, kind of back up the street, the side street toward the main thoroughfare, you're going to kind of... The smell hits you a little bit first, this kind of rotting smell. It smells a little bit like it was down in the sewers. And I think kind of as you're looking, you see on the side of one of these buildings and you're very close to the main thoroughfare now. So it's like on the back end of one of these buildings, you see this, this sort of graffiti similar to the type that you saw in the tunnel. It seems to be going up the side of the building. The portion, at least down here, that you're looking at.
Is it art or is it words?
It's kind of like someone just sort of slapped paint on it and left it there for like a very long time. Bunch of different colors.
Oh, so it's that same like Jackson Pollock-y type of... Okay.
Yeah. Sort of down here at least where you're looking, like I said.
I mean, I think just continue along until we run into like a main street and then just, I guess, grab someone and say, hey, where's the Society of Angels?
Excellent. Okay. So you're heading back to the, you're back sort of in the area adjacent to the bazaar. And, so I'm going to ask for a hitting the streets type roll, for this, looking for the Society of Angles, which is kind of the target of this one. So let's see. I'm going to set a pain rating of 5 to try to find someone who can kind of point you in the right direction. And you can use whatever you like, and if you like, you can help each other out. You can. I presume Dawson's leading this one, but Lila can help out with discipline if you so desire, with also the consequences of said thing if you so desire.
Please do. I need discipline to dominate for like at least one of these.
Well, remember that it doesn't affect what dominates.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's just successes.
Just successes.
Oh, man. Okay. I am going... You said pain was 5?
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm just gonna roll my discipline and exhaustion because I've got 3 of each right now.
Okay.
I'll throw one little temporary madness on there.
Okay.
Why not?
Why not? All right. And Lila, do you want to roll? You may.
Yes.
If you wish. We're only going to be looking at your discipline. Excellent. I shall now roll my pain. You've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 successes right now. I have 2 successes. Let's take a look here. So we've got a 6 in discipline.
Oh, I think discipline dominates.
Discipline is currently dominating. Yes, that's right. You got a 2, a 5, a 6, 5, and a 2. And I can't... Yeah, anything that I add... I'd have to use both to make something else dominate. I'd have to use both my despair to make something else dominate right now. Let's do that.
Oh no. It's a limit. It's such a limited resource though, Jim.
It is, I know, right? I'm going to have to rely on pain dominating in the near future sometime. But you have 4 coins of hope. Do keep in mind that's you've got the listings of the different things that hope does. If at any time anyone wants a reminder, I'll be happy to go through them.
Gonna have to use that real soon, I think.
Yeah. The fastest way is when you're rolling if you want more successes. But so I'm adding 2 6s to the exhaustion pool. So that exhaustion will be dominating. So please increase your exhaustion by 1.
Okay.
This is tiring. Successful as you're looking from person to person. You're asking around. Till finally, you sort of find yourself, you just run into this woman was just sort of standing there. Well, she has the head of a TV set. She's standing next to this awning, this dark awning with stars painted on it. And she just sort of turns around, and there's a person on the TV who's speaking to you. Different people, depending, between... This is not... Lila, this is not the broadcast. This is, however, someone... This is interesting. I will put it that way. And I presume you're asking, this person as well, and what this person tells you is, oh yes, I believe some of them are upstairs.
Oh. Heck yeah, it's not a place, it's us. Oh, I mean, it's a society, of course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they're up seeing the stars. And you see there's this sign that says, see the stars. Seeing the stars. Walking among the stars. I can't remember what the sign says anymore. How strange. I think it said see the stars.
Yeah.
Shall we?
Would you like to go up and see the stars? It's, we request only a modicum of self-control. As payment.
Well, we're not really going up to see the stars, though, right? We're going up to meet with the Society of Angles.
Everyone does need to pay something to get in. I could take something else. Perhaps. We're short on height, if you'd like to give us a tiny bit of height.
I'm gonna look to Lila to if she's
Perhaps a
ready
smattering
to
of a
give
few
up,
words
so.
in another language. If you have any of that.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if that makes you hesitate at all. The modicum of self-control.
It's relatively inexpensive as things go around here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Guess self-control it is then.
Excellent. And she will hold out her hand.
I'm gonna kind of do the same thing that Izzy did, where I just because that worked with the site earlier, so I think it just and as it enters her hand, there is a little flyer for an anger management class.
So Perhaps you missed more of those classes than you thought.
Oh god, I deleted all of them, so it's fine.
Oh, okay.
All-
They've already
all
been
30
deleted.
All 36 memories I gave up were anger
Oh
management.
no.
An anger management class you don't remember attending.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this? Oh.
Oh no. So yes, a little bit more of that vanishes. Just a little. Not the memory. No memories associated with whatever you're giving, but unless you've given those away already. Lila, what would you like to give?
Not eating an entire pint of Ben and Jerry's in one sitting.
Oh. A nigh impossible task.
I know.
But
The implication is that Lila has been able to have the self-control to do this
Yes.
before, which
Yes.
is in and of itself impossible.
I know.
Lila starts to eat the ice cream.
Yeah.
Has to put it in the freezer because something happened. And she forgets about it.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. So, let me see. All right, you are going to proceed up this inside then, as you feel this slight burden being lifted, or perhaps a prison door being opened. As you're heading inside and up this set of stairs, this twisting set of stairs. And at the top, I'm going to pull back for just a moment. Just a moment. Because you're not arriving at precisely the same time. Isabel has gone in here ahead of you. So, let's go with, yeah. I think we're gonna go with this. Hopefully it'll work out. We will, find ourselves on the roof of a building. Yes. Isabel. After ascending the stairs here, you found yourself in this place. You feel as though you're higher, as though you're fairly high up. You're on top of one of these buildings. It feels like it seems as though there's some sort of strangely reflective awning that's up here. And there are people milling about. It's like a little sort of cafe type deal going on here. There are people milling about, and it's like this awning is reflecting the stars. It's weird. It's like it's reflecting the stars, so that it's like from above, you see the stars above, and it's like there's this weird, almost holographic thing going on where they're also around you and in between. It's like sort of walking around or having coffee amongst the cosmos. It's a little cafe up here, basically. It's open on top of this. You see there's sort of metal furniture. Of the metal outdoor furniture. Different people sitting quietly and chatting. And there's like a little cascading pool with surrounded by rocks in kind of the corner, like a little fountain that is that some people are standing around and staring into. And you see there are a couple of places where there are telescopes. And hanging out at one of these tables with a large box of what looks like curly fries are three people who look like you. And actually they don't until it's like you could have swore as soon as you stepped in there was a bit shift and then they looked like you. But they look like you.
I will go up to them and ask, mind if I join you?
Oh, you're the only one here who fits in. And these look like the kind of like idealized versions of yourself, like the one that you saw down in the tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this place awesome?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And one of them is another the Isabel number 2 says, "Oh yes, you missed the fry hut, but we brought some up," and sort of offers you some of the fries if you would like some of the fries.
I would absolutely like some of the curly fries.
You accept the offer of food in this strange place?
Yes, I do.
Let's see. I seem to be drawing the same cards over and over again. We need to fix that. It is this strange thing where you have this almost sort of electric feeling a little bit upon consuming some of the fries. And it's like... And it's this feeling, I don't know if you are... It's this little feeling that you're getting that you're in the in crowd with these people. Like, these people know where the places to be are.
Mm.
And the places to be seen, or the places to see things. And... it's this interesting sense, and it's weird because they never say any of this directly. But it's sort of this feeling of like truly being free out there, not actually having to worry about any responsibilities and just being whoever you want to be. And they haven't said anything like this yet, but they'll ask you what you've been doing and what you've been up to, and how you've been finding the city.
But they haven't asked me that yet, or...
No, I'm sorry. They're asked. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm getting weird and meta here. Yes. How are you finding the city?
Honestly, confusing. And a little strange, but in a good way. Like when you go to a new place for the first time and everything's sort of really overwhelming, but in a delightful sense. It's like that.
Yeah. There's so much here. So many things.
Mm-hmm.
Such a mix of cultures and people and places. It's like the whole world is here sometimes.
Yeah. I saw this door in I think the bazaar, and it led to, I don't know if it was Switzerland or what, but it led out to definitely someplace covered in snow, and I was not in a tent covered in snow. So...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they sort of look at each other. Oh, yeah, those are the clowns. They They try to grab doors and make tents out of them sometimes. They have this weird ability sometimes they can actually move the doors. But, yeah, doors show up here to all kinds of places. Yeah, all kinds of places. You look around long enough, you can go pretty much anywhere you want. Sometimes to different times. Sometimes.
Izzy just gets this smile on her face, like she's just learned the most exciting piece of information that she could possibly learn.
You know, we could, since you are such a good fit here, if you like, we could absolutely, definitely show you around if you would be interested.
I would absolutely love that.
Have you noticed, by the way, sometimes when you're here, you kind of have... It's maybe not even while you're here sometimes. You might have even noticed beforehand. Sometimes you can do things. We've figured out how to kind of make that even better. Yeah. They sort of say, agreeing with each other. It's... I don't know, do you know what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a lot. And because you can really be whoever you want. Not really got to be attached to anything necessarily. It's so good. I can't even tell you how good it is.
So I can be anyone, anything.
Oh, yeah. Oh yes. We figured it. We kind of cracked it. Yeah. And I think it's going to be more or less at this point that a couple of things are going to happen. Lila and Dawson are going to... and there's been a significant amount of also hanging out and random chatting up to this point in the conversation before this. So you've been here for a little bit. Lila and Dawson will arrive up on the roof. You see this place. You're surrounded by stars, and the stars are also above you. And then there's this little sort of outdoor cafe type deal where people are there. There's like a little bar serving different things. And you see the sort of this reflective pool, and you see the telescopes. And you turn and you see 4 people who look like Isabel at this table. And I'd like to know what your immediate reaction to that is.
Well, we have seen some of them before.
Yeah, I think Dawson at least is like maybe not sure if Isabel is just like actually here, or if they just decided that they liked her face and now there are just 4 Izzies around. But I'll sort of like wave. Not like a just like a little one. Just like a hey.
Oh, they'll probably see you.
One of the Isabels kind of wiggles her fingers back at you.
Yeah. A moment later, like 1 or 2 of the others also do the same thing.
Yeah, I
guess we know which one the influencer is.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Izzy, you're so trendy. I feel like I made that joke literally like the first time we encountered these people too. So apologies. Yeah, I think go over there. If we go over to the table, do any of them shift to look like Lila and I, or do they all just stay as Izzy?
They are all staying as Izzy, you note.
That seems right. That makes sense. Hey, we were... Oh, we weren't really looking for you for a while, but then we were looking for you, and now we found you. I'm still maybe a little bit truth serum.
Yeah,
just a
if you
little
wish,
bit. It's
enough
wearing
time
off
has
now.
passed, but it's up to you.
Yeah, it's just like it's wearing off right now.
Yeah.
I think she'd probably say that anyway. Are you okay? Like we were gonna like go to the Society of Angles and like try to find you. You haven't been like running around like crazy like we have.
Brief thing, Sarah. If you're okay with this, I think that whenever you're responding, it could be any of them.
Yep.
Okay. So these responses that Sarah's about to give you is coming from a different one each time.
Okay.
Of all four of them.
Are any of you like the actual like the person we came in with though? Like is that
one of them, and I won't tell you which one, says, yeah, of course we are. Of course I am.
cool?
I think they're probably fairly amused by this, actually. But go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, we've been just like stuff's been happening. Sounds like you've been fine.
Well, there was this thing with cats, but they got caught and it was nothing.
Oh yeah, okay. We were we were sort of there too. Yeah, I don't know. Lila, you're the one who heard about this place. There's like a place we were gonna go maybe check out, 'cause someone that you know from before told you about it. Dawson like can't really remember.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to like come get you first, make sure you weren't like that guy didn't grab you with a little hooky thing.
What guy?
Well, there's like a guy who was like he was dressed like a weird creepy Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde guy. He had a little like it was like, "Oi, mateys, I'm gonna catch thee awake." I don't know. He had an English accent. I don't do accents. Like
Mr. Sphinx.
Ah, yes. No, as you can see, he didn't catch me.
it's good.
Probably best to avoid him.
They all nod in unison, all the Izzies.
Listen, it looks like we might be able to get some coffee here.
That would be awesome. Actually, before we decide anything. Because I'm so tired. And apparently that's super bad here. Yeah, is there like a server or is there any place
there's there's a little bar that you can go up to get coffee.
I will just turn from the conversation and walk over.
As you are striding across to get the coffee, you hear a scream. Everyone hears a scream. From the direction of the pool. And burbling up out of it is this strange, multicolored thing. This multicolored creature, blob-like creature, comes oozing up out of the pool and immediately just engulfs one of the people next to it as they get pulled screaming down into the waters. And it moves, as it's doing so, it is surging forward relentlessly. And people are panicking. And I think I would like to take a quick break now, if folks would be good with that. All right. We are going to take a quick break, and we will be back shortly. See what happens. See you in a bit. we have returned. And there is a creature before everyone that there's some yelling, there's some panicking, there's running. A certain amount of running is happening. And this creature, as it comes out and sort of rises up, it's not, as you realize, not merely a blob that goes along the ground, but it can stand up. And you hear this kind of... as it's rolling forward. Not any one really good shape, but it can be vaguely almost humanoid in a sense, in that it's got the ability to stand and move. It is moving slowly, but people up here like the sight of it not at all. And there is an immediate, once it is clear that this creature seems to be leaving a trail of paint. It smells like paint now that you are finally this close to it. It's like a precursor to the smell of rot. It's the smell of paint. People are running from it. There's a beeline folks are making for the awning, the awning entrance that comes to the top of the stairs. There are some people fleeing over the sides of the building because, as I said before, up here there are these strip metal. What is that the term? Sheet metal that's been kind of nailed in place between the rooftops. Some of them. Not all of them, but a good portion of them, especially around here, as there is kind of a rooftop jungle thing going on. You've all been sort of entranced by the stars, and the hologram, to a certain extent, of the stars, hologram, is still around you, so you can't see as much beyond it. But you can see that there are other roofs, and that are connected by sheet metal and wooden beams and things of that nature, so some people are running across those. And I would like to know what everyone is doing.
2 questions that will determine my answer. 1, does the blob appear to have a is it just, it's oozing out of the pool, but it's just kind of going? It's not like making a beeline towards one of us?
Well, after it finishes absorbing the one, that person absorbed, who knows? Maybe it's not absorbing it. It actually is going to leave a body behind it. But it is going to start lurching roughly in your direction. The direction of... Oh. I may have to give something away here. Because I have to figure this out. This is an important thing for me to figure out. This is going to be a difficult question possibly for us to answer, or it could be easy. We'll see. And I'm going to say you're not going to make any conscious connection here necessarily between this. Right now? Who do we think of the three of you right now is in the most denial? It's hard to say. Mm-hmm. I think Jim is about to pick a target. If he doesn't hear a rousing endorsement of denial.
Then would you like to place a wager?
Hey now, I'm not in denial about any of that. I'm very aware.
I expect it's probably either Dawson or Isabel.
Mm-hmm. My vote was going to be for one of us.
Yeah, mine too.
I think that it's going to start heading. It's lurching slowly in the direction It's lurching slowly in the direction of the Isabel table. That's not commentary necessarily. I just picked somebody. But it is oozing in that direction. And you can kind of, it's not exactly breathing, but it sort of is as it's splorching in and out, moving forward, these different colors running together and off of it.
My second question is going to be, is the server still at the cart? Or has
Hell
the
no,
server
the
left?
server
Okay.
turned and ran.
And what Dawson
server
is
is-
doing is reaching over the counter to try to like get a to-go cup put together. Like,
Yeah, somebody's order is sitting there on the counter if you want it.
oh yeah, that's mine now. And then I'll just kind of like make a jet, like a "let's go" gesture.
The server fled across a beam of wood and metal behind them, basically, to another roof. But yeah, what would you all like to do?
Do the other Isabels have a reaction to this?
They're dismayed
Okay.
a little bit, but they're not totally. They're like but they feel as though. How do I put this? They're kind of exchange looks. And then they sort of look at you. And this sort of, this kind of thing where it's like, I think we've got this. And they're not talking about just the three of them. They're including you in that.
Mm-hmm.
They feel confident that they can deal with this, or that all four of you can deal with this in some fashion, in some way. So they're reacting. They're not blasé about it
Right.
necessarily, but they're reacting kind of like they're dismayed that their fun time is being
interrupted
by this thing.
Okay.
And I think that let me look at the thing real quick. I just want to make sure I remember the thing that I'm going to refer to here. Yeah. Where is it? Yes. All right. They're going to kind of look and they're going to kind of look to you and be like, should we do something?
I think we should.
Yeah. And she's like, and one of them is like, oh, this is going to be really cool. And the one that's closest to you is going to lean forward. Okay. Whatever you're doing here, we're gonna help you amplify it.
Okay.
So we know that Dawson is signaling to folks. It's like, that's gonna have some direction. Has picked up coffee. What is Lila doing?
I think Lila sees the blob sort of lurching toward the Isabels and is going to kind of shout, "Hey, stop," and try to get its attention and like buy them some time to do whatever it is they're going to do.
Currently, this being is very changeable, as you can imagine. So I'm gonna say that its pain rating is currently 6.
Okay.
You're trying to distract it, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I see that you rolled your 4 exhaustion, and you did not roll any madness. Interesting. Okay. All right. I shall roll my pain. I got 4 successes. You got 5 successes. And let's see. Oh, okay, we don't have any 6s. We've got some 5s. There's a 5, a 3, a 3, and a 2. That's an exhaustion. So exhaustion is dominating. So you're going to up your exhaustion by 1 again. And, however, it works. This is like... It takes a bit for you to get this thing's attention. Because it's less interested in you. We at least have determined that. But when you get its attention, it slides, it's kind of like it's facing one direction, and then it slides down and back up and is facing you. And is rolling toward you. You have this paint monster's full attention. Congratulations.
Lovely.
So, are you leading it in a particular direction, or are you, So we'll know?
Whatever direction has the fewest amount of people.
Okay. So, I mean, right now this roof has a fair number of people. I think let's see. There's the side it came up from. That has the fewest amount of people. There's the... Then there's the next would be the corner kind of facing the market. But the corner away from where the entrance is. Because the entrance is swarmed right now. Yeah. And then on either side, you do have pathways out that people are currently getting onto. Not a huge number of people, but people. So it's probably either back the way it was coming or into the corner.
I think right now probably back the way it's coming. So I'm sort of edging toward the pool.
Back toward the pool. Okay, you're back toward the pool. You see the pool is now murky with... It's weird because it looks like the pool was supposed to have like reflective starlight in it, but that's now mixed with all of these colors, and it's actually quite pretty. But as this thing is like sort of gummed up the works, and you see that so you're at the edge. There's this pool. There is a mechanism that the pool is fed by, and there are way below. There are some fire escapes, but they're not reasonably close, which is unfortunate. But they're there. And so what are Isabel and Dawson doing?
Is the monster made of paint, or does it just smell like it?
It is hard to say. Mm-hmm. It feels like it might be made of paint. It's certainly fluid enough that it could be. There doesn't seem to be a thing inside it, necessarily. But it is weird. It's sort of like it's... There is an essence of something holding it together, but it's
We
hard to say.
talked about last time it being like almost like a ball of Play-Doh that's been
Yeah.
like mushed together because it's like not quite. It's just like a bunch of pieces of color, and it's
Yeah.
never quite like coalesces.
Yeah, the paint is the paint is more solid than paint typically is. So it's oozing more slowly than paint typically does, but it is paint. It seems to be anyway.
And these, I don't know if this is a dumb idea or not, but these fire escapes, are they like normal fire escapes where it's got metal grating on it?
The one off the side behind where Lila is?
Yeah.
So you've not actually been over there, but yes, it does. It has the it's the metal, but you'd see sort of New York fire escapes, New York 1970s, 80s fire escape, basically. Again, there's no ladder from it leading right up here, but it's there.
Right. How do you, like, this is a rules question. How do madness talons work? Do I just say I want to do a thing, or? Yeah,
you tell me what you want to do, and I'll tell you the minimum number of madness dice you'll need to roll to pull that off.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about pain and everything else. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Since it was heading for the Table of Isabel's before, I would like to try using my mirror talent.
Mm-hmm.
To lead it over the side to drop through the grate, and so I'm trying to get it to do like you know, like when you like push Play-Doh against a grate and it all kind of comes out in pieces, kind of a thing. That's what that is the end goal, is to have this thing in as many pieces as possible.
Gotcha.
And I think the grate is the way to do that, or Isabel thinks the grate is the way to do that.
Okay. So you're going to be rolling against 6 pain. In order to try to distract it sufficiently that it will see this, whatever illusion you want to put up, and go through completely enough that it does this, I'm going to say you're going to need at least 4 madness. You can roll so you can roll 4, 5, or 6 madness for this, basically. Your choice. I will say that everyone is going to hear the sounds of, as this is sort of, as this is kind of going on. I think Dawson probably will notice this. There are, and you can't see it too clearly again because of the weird sort of hologram type effect, but it does feel like there are people trying to approach from the direction that someone is approaching from the direction of that the bartender fled. You can kind of hear this sound. It's like a it's kind of a mechanical sound of someone sort of. They're still not quite here yet. They're still taking a minute, but like a bicycle maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple bicycles. And anyway, so yes, Izzy has this roll to make.
I'm gonna roll 6 madness die because I really want this to succeed.
Okay. Do you want to up your exhaustion beforehand? Do you want an exhaustion die too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's make bad choices.
Excellent. Okay. You've got your 3 discipline, your 1 exhaustion that you'll have now, and 6 madness. And I will be rolling 6 pain. Okay. You've got 7 successes, so there's no way I can actually beat that. I got 3 successes. Yeah, pain's not dominating nearly as much as it was the first couple sessions.
Yeah.
I'm noticing. Also a dearth of 6s. So let's see. However, we got a couple of 5s in Madness, so Madness is dominating. Please check off a response.
Can I change these? Because I decided they were going to be all flee from the beginning. Can I change them?
Yeah, you can. We
Okay.
can swap something out if you want. Yeah, that's no big deal.
Yeah. I want to go for fight for one
Sure.
of these.
That's absolutely fine. I would say ever since you sacrificed some self-control that you could easily have
Yeah.
flipped that over. All right, so your fight response kicks in as part of this. So what does this look like? This use of your madness talent.
Izzy snaps her fingers and Izzy pulls out from her bag a compact mirror and opens it, and it catches the light in just the right way that she reflects her image. If there were a projection wall, it would be reflecting exactly where she wanted it. And another Isabel appears kind of by the fire escapes, and it's kind of see-through. Like if you look at it real closely, you can kind of see through it as if it's not really there. The Isabel, and she kind of waves at the in both the real Isabel and the fake Isabel that just appeared do this, and they kind of wave at the paint monster and get its attention away from Lila, and kind of continue it into the direction that Lila was pulling it, and vault over, and Izzy vaults over the wall and kind of goes down the fire escape.
Now there's one thing I want to add, and that is that as you are doing this, the other 3 Isabels are doing the same thing. And so they are kind of helping the channeling of this. So the illusion looks very good, because they're also reflecting you and reflecting the other Isabel. And it's interesting. I know this is an octave of this you've not actually had before, where you can almost sort of sense the other Isabel from the inside, the one that you've just created, and have a little more fine control of her actions. And she does. She makes a big, like, 15, 20-foot jump down below, and it's almost like it's audible. And the paint monster surges forward. Lila, this paint monster is passing by you. The thing about this paint monster I should mention again, it moves very slowly. So it's going to start oozing over the edge of the wall. But it's going to take a sec. Dawson, are you doing anything right now?
It's gonna take a sec because it's really slow. Is that what you just said?
I did.
I can help with that a little bit. I think I am going to, in conjunction with this, as I see this. I wouldn't get Izzy's plan necessarily because I'm not like over there, but I think she like sees this and is like, oh yeah, getting it over the edge of the building, great. And I think the thought process is it would be great if that could just be like a little faster, and then it just like happens.
Excellent.
Or happens depending on how many madness you say I have to roll.
You are trying to speed up the paint monster so that it will, preferably for something that it doesn't realize is happening to it. Obviously, you want to hurdle it forward, and so this is going to require, I think, at least 3 madness to do, since you've already got sort of momentum on your side. The pain, I'm going to be rolling for it because this monster is distracted now. I'm going to roll only 5 pain.
Okay. So do I, for madness talents, do I have to roll my discipline and exhaustion when using those, or can I? Okay.
You always roll your discipline and any exhaustion you have. You can always increase your exhaustion beforehand if you like. And then you can roll, you have to roll for this a minimum of 3 madness when it asks you, but you can roll up to 6.
I am going to roll, I won't, Yeah, let's do it. Let's go 6 extra madness.
You can roll a total of 6 madness.
The thing goes real fast.
Yeah, you can roll a total of 6 madness, and I'm going to roll my 5 pain. Let's see what we have here.
I only got 1
discipline dominating?
Oh, no, okay. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Lord. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. I got 3 successes. You did 2 better than me. Discipline is dominating, and I can't change that. So you're going to get to either remove a check from a response or reduce your exhaustion by 1.
I'm going to reduce my exhaustion by 1.
Excellent.
And I think the representation of that is that Dawson just like chugs the coffee after doing it and tosses the cup. Yeah.
Coffee!
Yeah.
Drink the coffee.
The power of caffeine.
Power of caffeine compels you. Yes, absolutely. So this thing, not used to moving anywhere near this fast, slingshots over the wall. And you are completely in control when you're doing this. You watch and you see. And from behind you, because you turned to face this thing, from behind you, from beyond the bar, there's a flash of light. Brief. Like the flash of a camera. And the wheeling sounds kind of have stopped for a second, but they're still going on a little further behind because there's more than one of these. You see, if you sort of look around, you see it appears as though these 3, they look like about the height of kids. These are not children. They are, because they're all made of newspaper.
Yes.
They're all riding bicycles. Yeah, I think you might have seen one of them earlier, selling newspapers.
Selling.
Quietly. One of them has a camera and tried to capture that moment. And they're sitting at the edge of this pool of darkness, and they're just sort of looking around, and a little confused, a couple of them, that this monster moved so quickly. And see, the one with the camera is like, makes a sort of a slightly frustrated gesture as it puts it down. It's slung around its neck. And it just sort of looks at you, and you hear the paper rustling as it cranes its neck, looking in your direction. You think it doesn't have a face.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the shape of a face. And the two others do the same thing. A moment later, they're just looking at you.
I'm gonna go over to the. Yeah, I'm gonna just go over to where the one of the many Izzies, the projected Izzy, like went over the side. I'm gonna start making my way back.
Sort of in Lila's direction, yeah.
Yeah. Children are creepy even when they're not made of paper.
Yeah, that's fair. But these are these are not children, but these are like short people, made of paper. As you do this, they wheel forward and up and onto the roof. And at this point, it's pretty much just Lila, Dawson, and Isabel up on this roof. And you will see let me look at this real quick so that I have it. Excellent. It'll just be like, just sort of one of the other Isabels, Izzy, one of the other ones, just sort of looks over and is like, the freaking paper boys. Must have seen this stuff happening and wanted to get in on it. And one of them was like, you do not want and another one says, you do not want them writing a headline about you. And the one with the camera turns and is starting to raise the camera to try to get all of you in the picture. What's everyone doing?
I think Lila is going to go look over the side and see what...
Yeah, you see the paint monster dripping down. It hits the fire escape and shoots through it. And it's separating into this sort of rainbow sluice going down. Down through. Kind of... You're not sure if it's going to reform or not, but it's heading down the side now.
I think Dawson's doing the same thing. Just like seeing if that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's Isabel doing?
Ladies, I think it's time for us to move on.
What the heck? It's bad decision night. Isabel is turning to the paper boy that is pulling up the camera.
Mm-hmm.
And is, I don't want to say posing, but making sure that he's getting her best angle.
Yeah. The other three Isabels are like, well, what? They're kind of they're taken aback that you're doing this.
Paparazzi
But,
shot.
yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of a they're doing kind of a paparazzi thing.
Yeah.
But that one is going to take your picture. And let's see. It's an interesting sensation. You've got this sort of almost heightened almost awareness of everything and how everything looks going on. And the reflectiveness that even comes from inside the camera. You've got this going on because you've got these other Izzies with you. And you can sense that somehow that as this photo is being taken, that this paper creature is trying to forge a prophetic destiny for you. It's trying to make a story true that it wants to be true. Meanwhile, the other two paper boys are biking in and trying to block the exit, or at least the one down the stairs. One of them is kind of doing that. The other one is trying to remember how they did this. I don't think it mattered. Yeah. So those two are like trying to do that. The one with the photo is trying to do this to you. So the upshot of this, Isabel, are you trying to resist this destiny that they're trying to impose on you?
Do I have a sense of what the destiny is?
They're going to probably write some kind of, well, this one seems perhaps disappointed it didn't get better shots of the paint monster.
Okay.
So he's gonna try to blame you for that, probably. He's probably gonna try to portray you in an unflattering light.
Then, yes, I will try to resist.
Okay. Now, the usual pain to resist a story that is already printed from the paper boys, the usual pain is 10. I'm going to downgrade that since it is in its formative stages. I'm going to downgrade it to a 7. What would you like to do?
I would like to resist the unflattering story, and as I feel it being written about me, has the paperboy taken their shot yet of their
It's
picture yet?
like it's happening right now.
Okay,
Almost
then
slow motion.
I will try to throw up
Light's
my hand
starting to
in
come
like
out.
a paparazzi,
Mm-hmm.
in like the anti-paparazzi thing, and see if I can get it in time.
Okay.
And like moving from a flattering angle to the don't take my picture.
All right. And do you want to incorporate your madness talent here as well, or do you want to leave that alone?
Yeah.
I'm just saying you have the power of illusion, so there are a number of things you could probably try to do.
Right. I would like to know. What I'm gonna do is, instead of trying to throw my hand up in the anti-paparazzi kind of pose, is use the mirror that's inside the camera, and so that so that his picture is like a kaleidoscope of Isabel's and not anything concrete of her.
Nice. Excellent. I love that. That is a little bit of a fine control of a very small portion of the camera being happening very quickly. So I am going to ask for at least 5 madness dice to be rolled for this.
All right.
And I'm going to be rolling, just so you're aware. This is against... There are 3 paper boys here, so the pain is 6. Actually, no, you're right. Pain is 7 because it's a story. I'm sorry. Brain. I just said the pain was going to be 7. Pain is 7 because it's a story, but I downgraded it because it hasn't happened yet. Go ahead.
All right.
They haven't
And can
published it
I up my exhaustion?
You absolutely may.
Do this roll?
You can do it ahead of time if you wish. You can up it by 1.
And I am gonna lean into it and roll 6 madness die again.
Okay. All right. I'm rolling 7 pain. 2, 4, 5. You got 5. I got 5. So it leans in your direction. Let's see. You have 2 6s in madness. So madness is again dominating. And so you would need to check off another response.
That's fine.
Fleeing seems appropriate now.
So
Yeah.
you will be successful, just barely. And I would assume, are you checking off the flight response? Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Okay. So your flight response kicks in as this happens. So the flash goes off, and he's like looking at his camera a little bit oddly. Meanwhile, the other 2 paper boys are racing toward the entrance to try to block it off. And let's see, what is Dawson doing?
I
You're
think
kind of closest to them right now.
as Lila says, ladies, I think it's time to be leaving. Is there any of these, like, across the roofs of buildings, bridges? Are there any, like, bridges close to us?
Yeah, in the opposite direction, you can. They're not blocking that way out. You can head up there. It looks like they are, again, sort of, there's this ramp going up and down, so you can go across to the next building if you wish.
I'm gonna head for one of those. I'm, like, not gonna try to beat the paper boys to the exit.
Okay. Dawson's running that way. What are the rest of us doing?
Lila is gonna check the navigation on her phone and try to lead the party toward the exteriors as we are fleeing.
Okay. So yeah, you're gonna be cutting edgeward. You're going to be cutting sort of basically towards the outskirts. We're trying to cut across in that direction, sort of outward toward the outskirts. So you're going to try to be sort of helping with that. What is Isabel doing? What are Isabel's doing?
Isabel's gonna ask the other Isabels. So what happens now? Like, do we leave? Do we stay?
You're going to try to put us in the story the longer we stay here. So unless we want to take them out, we are probably going to have to run.
Yeah, let's run.
Okay. All right. They seem okay with that. All right. And you start running after Lila and Dawson?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is the trying
There's
to...
a pack of Isabels just following that.
A pack of Isabels running after. You were trying to escape from the paper boys. Or trying to... Perhaps in the direction of the outskirts. So I feel as though Dawson is probably leading this one. And Lila is probably helping. Does that sound right?
Yeah, like directing where to go.
Okay. There are 3 paper boys pursuing you. So the pain is 6.
Okay. Well, now that I've used this... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Just kidding. I was going to say, now that I've used this madness talent, I'm just going to use it all the time, but that's probably not a good idea right now.
Are you sure?
I'm just positive enough. So I'm just going to roll my... Oops. There we go. Okay, the character sheet was like, no, I'm not going to open, in fact. I'm just going to roll my discipline and exhaustion, and then I'm going to throw some temporary madness on there.
Right,
just
so.
a couple.
Sure. Just a couple, as a treat. All right. And we've got 2 discipline from Lila. So you have 2, 3, 4, 5 total successes. I have 3 successes. And it looks like... Oh, discipline is just dominating. So you may, once again,
Slightly
Dawson, you can... Yeah, just slightly, because you had a 3rd die in there.
Yeah.
So you can either remove a checked response or reduce your exhaustion by 1.
I am going to...
And so can Lila.
Oh, nice. I'm going to remove one of my checked responses, I think.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I think there I might have missed a roll that there was helping on before where something... I can't remember what was dominating. Was there a helping roll earlier? Or something like that?
Yeah.
I have no idea what dominated on that
there-
roll.
When we were trying to find someone who could tell us where the Society of Angles was hanging out.
It was
Yes, it was
which
exhaustion that was dominating.
Yeah.
So Lila, your exhaustion probably would also have gone up by 1 if you were helping on that. Yeah.
I'm gonna roll that
Sorry.
exhaustion back now.
Yeah.
Excellent. Good.
Cancels out.
Haha. So, all 6 of you are fleeing from these paper boys. You're heading toward the outskirts, and as you run, you hear them further and further, falling further and further behind you. The sounds of the paper rustling and the bicycles. As you leap from rooftop to rooftop, over wooden beams and sheet metal, racing, you can see out. Now that you're outside of this thing, you can see across the rooftops of the Mad City, this big sort of circular city with the big clock at the center, and you see that there are, and it's almost midnight, and you can see the different roofs that are connected by different things, and on some of the roofs there look like crashed planes, or the tail ends of them. You actually pass fairly close to some of them, some of the crashed planes. You're kind of near the edge of where right now is the place where the planes crash. And you can use that to your advantage. You get the planes between you and the paper boys. And you continue toward the edge of the city until the sounds of them dissipate. And you can actually even see into the district to your left, which according to your map is the grid.
Okay.
There's a lot of neon in there. And you see what look like a lot of sort of people. There are people in... It is odd because it looks like the strange sort of cyber dystopia from up here. There are a few of these cubes throughout the city, throughout that district, that have these glowing, pulsing glows going across them. There are little flying things.
Tron game.
Yeah, it's a little weird. There's like little flying things going back and forth. Orb-like. Not too far from where you are now. And you will note that some of them seem to be kind of peeling off and moving in your direction roughly, but you don't know if they're following you or not, because it's not a beeline or anything. But
I assume we're going to attract all sorts of attention until we manage to get out of here. So
yeah, you come
just
to the
keeping an eye out.
keep running until you come to the edge, and as you come to the edge, you look out at the outskirts. You see it's not exactly a wasteland, but it kind of is. It's also, it's darker, obviously. But there are things out there. There's you're looking down at what looks like a beat up old gas station. And some kind of low squat building near it. This outer road. There doesn't appear to be a way directly down from here. And as you come up to this roof, the 4 Isabels show up last. And they kind of come to a stop, and one of them says, that was thrilling. But too bad they spoiled the mood over there. Yeah. And they sort of look at Isabel, and they look at Lila and Dawson. Hey, we know where there's a party going on. It's very exclusive. Want to come?
For real? We were just like running for our lives. Like,
this is Mad City. She just shrugs. And another of the Isabels turns to Isabel Prime, and says, "But you know who was really fantastic?" And all 3 of them point at Isabel.
That was pretty flashy.
And one of them sort of leans in. What did you think? You like it?
Yeah.
And the other 2 are like sort of smiling, like they're sort of like really excited, and they're like, oh, yeah. And the one that's facing you is like, so, this, what you get with us here is the sort of higher octave. We want to give that to you. We want to invite you into the circle. And this Isabel opens her bag and pulls out a mask. You probably don't even need this, but it'd be like we're with you all the time, and you can, if you think you're good at reflecting now, we can all have some real fun. What do you say?
Isabel, being 19 and stupid, takes the mask and says, yes, I'd love to.
You sure you don't want to reflect on that a little?
reflect.
Oh.
Yeah, like you don't have to put it on like right away. You can you I mean, you don't even know how it works. Like she doesn't even know how it works, you guys.
Oh, she's
Can she
got
take it
this.
off again?
Up to her. Absolutely.
I look at the mask. What does the mask look like?
Do you have does Isabel have a favorite animal?
Not cats. She's
Yeah.
a dog person.
So
French bulldog.
it looks a little bit, well, it looks a little bit like a bulldog, but actually the funny thing is it's going to kind of, you know how that menu reshaped itself to look how you wanted it to look?
Mm-hmm.
The mask is kind of like that. It's reflective.
Okay.
So, I mean, it could look
Isabel
like a bulldog or it
will
could like whatever you want it to look.
look at the mask in her hands and look at these people look at the two people who she met like an hour ago. And being 19 and stupid, she puts the mask on.
Isabel puts on the mask. And the other Isabels applaud, smiling widely. And Isabel, you feel, you know what it's like? There are a couple of things you're going to feel here. That surge that you feel when you use your madness talent. And then this feeling that you've kind of joined in on you've joined an exclusive thing that's all yours, but then also it's kind of like making a promise. It's kind of like making a contract. As you are joining this association of beings, this association of the kinds of things you see in dreams, kinds of things you see in potentially very dark dreams. And you feel yourself transforming. So, Izzy, sometimes some of these transformations, some of these changes that have happened in the past are very subtle. Some of them are very extreme. But what does Isabel look like when she transforms into a nightmare?
Her hair, which has gotten a little messy from running, settles into the perfect braid. And her eyeliner, which has gotten kind of smudged, sharpens. And her lipstick gets a little redder. And her smile gets a little bit whiter and more brilliant. And the look behind her eyes hardens a little bit into something that just looks a little bit meaner than Isabel has looked in the past. And so she is a perfect and very, very cold representation of herself.
The other Isabels are ecstatic. They are ready to go forth and party. And they all four of these Isabels now look pretty much alike. There's no distinguishing one from another. And they, I think the three that came in with you, and you know instantly where they're going. You know instantly where to go. They will turn, and one of them's like, yeah, yes, let's go. And the three of them turn, and they start moving in another direction. And what do we, what is the last thing we see of Isabel in this episode?
She follows them and looks over her shoulder and smiles at Dawson and Lila, and it's not a friendly smile, and says, "Good luck," before she disappears into the night.
And are there any immediate reactions we wish to give?
I think just like shock at how quick that happened, and like, yeah, we met Izzy an hour ago, but she seemed like kind of a sweet gal, and like that was like Dawson has experienced that kind of that like bitchy mean girl thing before, and it's probably like that's a different person.
And what is Lila's immediate reaction?
Lila is a little disappointed with herself. Or, I don't know, not being more vocal. But, like, she knows she can't make Izzy's choices for her. But she's still a little frustrated.
And I'm going to say that you've kind of seen this happen before. With a particular writer that I think you were here with last. And so the full weight of that realization comes upon you of what exactly it is that's just happened. And then another person who was awakened has been lost to the nightmares. And that is where we're going to end this session. Thank you all very much. I very much appreciate the playing along here. I'm just going to let everyone know this was planned. I have not just I have not just suddenly kiboshed Sarah's character.
Oh, is that the surprise you were talking about?
Surprise!
Oh my gosh.
Yes. Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. Turns out, there was in fact a ringer in the party. So we're gonna go ahead and do our outros. First off, actually, I'm gonna even just ask: is everyone doing okay? Is everyone doing okay?
Oh yeah.
Are we good? Are we good? Okay. we're going to go ahead and go around and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you. Any final thoughts you had about this session? I think I'm going to save Sara for last this time. So we're going to go with, let's do this in intro order, so that my brain doesn't try to do too many pergola loops. So we will start with Alyssa.
I am your friendly virtual spinner of yarns and teller of tall tales. You can find me on the internet at Shawl Tales. I don't really have anything else going on stream right now, so it's just this. I think this was a really fun session. It was nice to have at least one more person back in the party. Briefly as it may be. I have a feeling, since we're only our third episode out of a half a dozen or so, we're probably not going to get out of the city before the 13th hour. So it's going to be fun having Lila try to escort Dawson through the changing of the labyrinth. And her dealing with the fallout of you can't save them all, but the number keeps climbing. Yeah. So
Indeed.
yeah, I was getting a little worried about Lila being sitting at a 5 exhaustion already, and we're only halfway through the campaign. But we'll pull that back a bit. We can push it some more.
Yeah, sure, it'll be fine.
This will be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. She's not racking up a massive debt to the broadcast.
No, not at all. Broadcast totally isn't sitting back and watching this whole thing gleefully.
I hope the broadcast enjoys the drama. Let's give them a good show.
Excellent. Was that it? Did you have anything else? Or are you good?
That's it.
All right. Now we will head over to Olivia.
Hey everyone. I've been Olivia. You can find me on Twitter at CryOutOlivia. I can also be found on the podcast Material Components, which is an actual play RPG show, which can be found wherever podcasts can be found. That was so good. I was so worried. I was so worried at the end there. That reaction from Dawson was basically just me being like, oh no. So, but it was good. Drama is good, as was just said in the chat.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. I'm glad that I'm glad that we're okay. But yeah, just glad that but glad for the authenticity, but also glad that we're okay. Finally, we shall head over to Sara.
Hello, everybody. I played Isabel, and you can find me on the internet at Sara of Swords. This was the only streaming thing I have, so I don't really have anything through the end of the year. But you can find me shouting into the void on Twitter until it collapses in a pile of steam. So yeah, and I really had fun. As Jim said, we'd had this plan from the beginning, and so I was kind of on the edge of my seat, being like, "How is he going to do it?" And I really enjoyed sort of the multiple Izzies and playing into her vanity and all that. So,
yay! Excellent. Awesome. And alas, Sara will be departing from us at this point, but you never know what who may pop up one time or another. This whole thing, these different narratives are going to be happening for a while. So we'll see how things go. But Sara, thank you so much for being such an awesome an awesome pre-nightmare situation, for being for playing into it so wonderfully, and for just for being your awesome self. That's basically what I'm very thankful for. I really this was great for me. I will say I was a little nervous because I haven't done a lot of this kind of thing where I've got a secret plan with one of the players in quite this way. Usually I've run things where there are secret plans with all of the players, Amber, Paranoia, what have you. But it's when we have things like this, it's very different and very special for me. So I'm very glad that we have made it here to see kind of how it went. But who am I? Who am I indeed? I'm not sure. But in general, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and various other things. And so this week, our next thing is on Wednesday, should be, where we are having our Dune campaign come back. House Versailles, the noble house we have created, as we're on an ocean planet and we're moving in there and trying to sort of figure things out as we take control of it. And there's a lot going on, so I'm going to be very keen to get back to that. And then, of course, on Friday, let's see. Oh yeah, Thursday. I think this week is supposed to be our Thursday. I think is when I'm playing with Lucci. I think we're going back to Zork 2. By the way, that's a video game thing, or text adventure game thing that we do every other Thursday. So we're doing that Thursday afternoon, and then on Friday we have the other group in this overarching Persistent World campaign, the Outer Veil, and what they do there, that episode in particular, I think is going to have a bit of an effect on how things might look when the city changes next, in particular. So we'll see. I mean, what's happened in this campaign has affected it too. But let's just say they're going after something. It could cause things to change if it changes hands. We'll see. We'll see how things go. Gotta kind of see where things are going, but it feels like there's going to be a little bit of a shift, at least. So they're over in the Necropolis right now, and I'm going to be very keen to see on the opposite side of the city right now, from where we were just now, and we'll kind of see how things go. But that's happening on Friday, and of course on Mondays we have this, and we will see kind of what is happening in the near future. We're going to have some conversations about how things are going to look, but this will be continuing, and when it continues, it will be continuing on Monday nights. So look forward to that, because I certainly do. But in the meantime, let's see. I think we're going to go over and say hello to somebody when we hit the end card. Probably, I am thinking they're playing Kids on Bikes over on Happy Capster's channel. We'll go ahead and probably say hi to them. Feel free to hang on if you're so inclined and say hi to them with us. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.